Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It's one of the most demanding road circuits in North America, and it's the venue for week number 7. Live here tonight, we made a right-hand turn to come to Chicago Street Course. It's the Coastal Financial Truck Series presented by Racing Revolution. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. It's the 4D2 Tire Shredder 64, live from Chicago Street Course. Been with you all season long here for Vspeed, and as we lead off for another great production, it's no surprise who's fastest in practice right now. There's quite a few other drivers that have put their time in, and they're just chomping at the bit. This track going to challenge even the most talented drivers in this series. Look here at the track map. Back on July 1st, 2023, they started coming to this venue, and it's not changed at all in this configuration. What has changed? There's more billboards. There's more blind spots. This racetrack more and more difficult with all the sponsorship through some portions of this racetrack to actually get a visual on your corner approach. But because it's wall-to-wall, every single turn has to be perfect. If you make a mistake, if there's somebody on the other side of that corner, sideways on the racetrack, there's a good chance we're going to see a few pile in by the end of this thing. So we're going to have 12 turns. Elevation's going to stay about the same all the way around this circuit. You can see a lot of 90-degree corners, and the one carousel around that statue in downtown will be probably the biggest passing zone of them all. You can also get a good run off of turn 12 and get down the front stretch, set up a pass for turn 1. But after that, it's a high-speed rank turn 3 and into turn 4. Drivers are going to have to be careful not to be inside or outside of one another before they hit corner 4. We've seen that go wrong quite a few times here on Vspeed since we have started covering this track. But race analysis here, 30 laps race length, and that is about equal to what we've been doing at the mile-and-a-half sand short tracks. So stage at lap 10, it seems short, but you know, this track over 2 miles in length. So it will take a while to get to that 10 laps on the stage. course, admin cautions here tonight, 75% fuel and 4 tire sets available. They'll be most likely not using all of those. They're going to try to run this thing out on one stop, and it'll most likely come at that stage. Quick look here at the points, though. Jeremy Burns, a commanding lead of over 25 points. He's sitting up there on the top spot with 3 wins. And, of course, when it comes playoff time, it's going to make a big difference here for Burns. And is this going to be number 4? This could be another win on the season for Jeremy Burns. Alex Forget looking to try to break that streak that Burns has going right now. Of course, Dakota Floyd solid here in 3rd, but without a win. Floyd definitely capable of winning, just needs to find the right venue. Night track, I'm thinking maybe like a Las Vegas or Chicagoland would probably be where we find Dakota Floyd in victory lane. But unfortunately for him, we're at the wrong part of Chicago here today. So he's going to have to deal with the right-hand turns as well as the left as we cycle through this race. With that, though, it's time to take you trackside now. Get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole, no surprise here. Jeremy Burns. Yeah, we're not surprised. It was a 129. It was almost a full second faster than the rest of this field here today in this qualifying lap. What's also not surprising, though, Dakota Floyd is going to start on his outside. He's about half a second slower there, but definitely on pace in the number 57. We'll see how these guys wind out as the race continues on. Cody Anderson starting in the top 3. Justin Ritchie will start in 4th spot. Logan Threlkel with a solid time. He put some definite practice in here today. Justice Murphy starting in 6th. Then in 7th spot for Grant Thorpe and Grant Turner for row number 4. Rounding out your top 10, Tyler Harrison in the 45. Caleb Gilbert in the 54. Parker Johnston and Michael Reed will start 11th and 12th, and then 13th going to Jacob Sirkovich. Matthew Robinson will start in the 14th position. 15th spot going to Christopher Schaefer, Kyle Diaz in 16th. 17th, Alex Forget all the way at the back, electing not to take a time, Trevor Keith. He's a road course ringer. Hope to see him get up in the top 10 very soon. And Chris Nail, who is elected not to grid, maybe a connection issue, not entirely sure what's going on with the 88. Dakota Floyd also missing the grid here for 57, having a connection issue just before the grid. He got back into the session. Hopefully we can get these guys back in here. So again, aiming for lap 10 on the stage. Jeremy Burns from the top spot, but nothing to guarantee. It does look good for him in the Ingenuity 72 Chevrolet Silverado. We'll have Justin Ritchie to his right-hand side as they go in to turn 1. We'll also have the 20 of Cody Anderson just behind him. Coming up on the final 2 corners before we hit this restart zone. Long way. It's actually the final 4 corners. Sometimes get a little confused on which side of the racetrack we're on. Now coming up on those final 2 turns where we'll see the iRacing pace car. And of course the billboards weren't here when this camera pack was designed, so it's kind of a weird mix, and they've actually changed the location of turn 11, so we'll try to avoid those cameras as much as possible. Pace truck is out of the way, pace car rather, and here we go for 30 laps. Chicago Street Course race number 7 for the Coastal Financial Truck Series underway. any problems in the back. Parker Johnston's around. Dakota Floyd was able to make it back in, had to start from the pits. And contact between the 91. Reed gets bumped there. That was Caleb Gilbert that got into the back of him there. Dakota Floyd going by on the inside, has a lot of ground to make up. Technically starts from the pits, so that second place qualifying effort, whether it was a connection issue or maybe a penalty, not entirely sure here, but Floyd had to start at the tail end of the field regardless. And a car around again here. That's Kyle Diaz, I believe. No. Matthew Robinson in the number 1 getting some help. Diaz got involved, so did Trevor Keith. Back to our live shot here. You can see Logan Threlkeld just behind Justice Murphy, working through one of the faster portions of this racetrack right now. Coming through turn 1 now. Jeremy Burns lead already at 0.8 of a second on lap 2. On board with Threlkeld. Patiently following behind the 12 of Murphy. You see how much wheel he has to put in this thing just to get through the corners. Have to be careful with the throttle inputs, the brake, all of it. One smooth transition after another. Oh, and Murphy's gonna lose it. Threlkeld nowhere to go. And he gets rear-ended. And probably not too happy there with the 12 of Murphy just locking it up in the middle of the racetrack. Damage on the 12 machine. Damage on the 18. Grant Thorpe on the back bumper. Murphy's going to let the 18 by here, but he might end up losing a couple more spots than that. Threlkeld up to 4th. Chaos there from the 4th position on back. You're watching now with the 2nd position battle. Jeremy Burns in another time zone already, but a fight here between Justin Ritchie and Cody Anderson. Anderson in the number 20, keeping pace. Right on board here with the number 20. Justin Ritchie keeping right in front of him here. Solid so far. Tucked in tight here through turn 10 onto 11. Ritchie getting a little bit sideways through that portion of the track, but locked in and focused here for Anderson. Kyle Diaz off the racetrack now, putting it behind the wall. Problems for the 26 machine. We'll try to this up here and see what happened to Diaz. This was back about a lap ago here. We just come by for lap number 4. exactly sure where this goes wrong for Diaz. Maybe locks it up on his own and it meets a tire barrier. You know, these next two turns coming up set up a lot of speed. Oh, he hits the wall here through the carousel, busts the left front, and he's had enough. Jeremy Burns continues to lead. Here comes Justin Ritchie and Cody Anderson. The battle between them continues. Then you go back here with Grant Thorpe, Justice Murphy, 5th position up for grabs. Dakota Floyd working his way closer to Tyler Harrison. So already, just in this 4 laps that we'll have completed. Oh, sideways for Murphy, and there's another spot for Floyd as he avoids him. What happened to Murphy? Got sideways there, entering the carousel. And Murphy will fall back to 10th position. Battle for second, still hot. Within 4/10 of each other. Off the back bumper of Justin Ritchie. Plenty of Anderson getting better entries into the corner, but Ritchie better off the exit. And if you can perfect the art of rolling on the throttle here, you see a little bit too much throttle there for the 6th that time. You can perfect that. Almost every one of these corners is similar in the fact that it's 90 degrees, so you master that part, then get used to the transitions. There is certain characteristics to each one of these turns. And Jeremy Burns is just putting on a clinic right now. He is 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds ahead. And just continuing to lay waste here in stage 1 from Chicago Street Course. On board now with the 72. What would probably seem out of control is just a controlled slide through that portion of the racetrack. Burns showing him how to get around this place better than anyone else here at road courses in Racing Revolution. We saw it last season for the Cup Series as well. He was tough to beat. Very few drivers were even able to stay in the same time zone. And as it is right now with lap 10 stage break, that is going to bail out some of these drivers that are deeper in this field. Looking back here with Christopher Schaefer, he's at threat of going a lap down already, 6 laps in. He'll let the leader by. 1 lap down, 16th position for Schaefer. Johnson, who got turned at the very start of this race, heavy damage on the front end of this machine. Trying to salvage the day. He is 16 seconds back from this driver who also got turned. It's Michael Reed in the 91. Tyler Harrison, and I'm not sure if Harrison made a mistake, but Floyd got by him. He's now working on the back of Thorpe. Charging through this field, Thorpe gets sideways. These two drivers trying to find their way around Logan Threlkeld, who's held on to this 4th spot. And this is Logan Threlkeld's foot cam. And every time I see those socks, watch him work the throttle, work the brakes. Oh, a little too much brake there. A little bit sideways. It's going to open up the door here for Floyd. I can tell you confidently, a lot of drivers not favoring this racetrack decided to use it as a drop week. Still have 16 running. Justice Murphy an early exit, as is Kyle Diaz, also behind the wall within the first 4 or so laps. Looking here with Justin Ritchie starting to pull away a little bit from Cody Anderson. We're coming up on 2 to go for the stage. Car of Anderson not out of the picture yet. Nicking right within a second. That time really made up some ground through the final 4 corners of this racetrack. And Jeremy Burns is going to give up the stage victory and come down pit road. And now the stage win could come down between Cody Anderson and Justin Ritchie. We saw this. We've seen this before. It's not surprising, but it is at the same time. It is worth points to finish on that top spot. But for Burns, coming down pit road just before that white flag. Sometimes it pays off. Battle back here with Schaefer. Parker Johnson gets around him. Now working on Jacob Sirkovich, who's a little off the pace, but pretty far ahead of the 48. Sirkovich just trying to power around this place as Anderson sees that the lead is in front of him. All over him. Problems for Threlkeld, I believe. But here's the look for the lead. White flag in the air this time by. Anderson's gonna go to work and try to get around Ritchie. One last time to do it. He's locked in and focused. He's trying to find a weak spot on this racetrack. Going to cut in a little bit more shallow on this portion. He is rolling the center really well. He's going to get right up and fill the mirror of the 6th truck out of turn 5 and 6. Always peeking to the inside here. Here's another peek on the back bumper of Ritchie. We'll have 2 more corners to try to do it. One more look to the inside. But it looks like Ritchie's going to hold him off. Out of turn 12. Justin Ritchie. In stage 1 at the street course. Still waiting on the rest of this field to come around here. This is around the 7th position. There's Grant Thorpe in 6th spot, Alex Forget. Then you have Caleb Gilbert just now coming out of turn 11. This field very spread out. Grant Turner, no positions really up for grabs here. So they could probably afford to throw that yellow now, and they will. Stage complete. So we've seen this before from Jeremy Burns, where he came down pit road, cut it short. There's your top 10 in the running order with Richie Anderson, Floyd, Threlkel. Burns back to 5th, Thorpe 6th, Forget, Gilbert, Turner, and Robinson. These drivers trying to catch up to the iRacing pace car. Oh, and Anderson makes a mistake here under the pace laps. Ends up getting damage from it. Can't believe it. That's got to sting. I mean, this guy's got top 3 speed, but now with the toe angle probably knocked out of this thing under pacing. Yeah, the right front definitely messed up on this machine. Don't go anywhere. We still have plenty of racing left to be done from the Chicago Street Course in the Coastal Financial Truck Series presented by Racing Revolution. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Comfort Zone Camp, we are a 501c3 organization, and what we do is we provide a free overnight weekend camp experience for children who have experienced the death of a parent, sibling, primary caregiver. And what we're doing is we're bringing kids into our camp weekend. It's completely free of charge, and they come here and they get to experience the fun of going to a regular summer camp, but they also get healing.
A weekend at camp is set up to let kids get back to being kids again, and for them to break their isolation, drink in that message visually while there's 60 other kids here who've experienced a significant death. I'm not alone.
kid, and it was okay to feel what you're feeling, and you didn't have to feel one type of way. And when I got to Comfort Zone, I quickly learned that, and that there was a huge community of people who just want to provide good to this world and support kids.
Every child who comes to camp is matched with their own adult big buddy mentor who serves as their anchor, shadow friend through the weekend, and they're kind of like this for the weekend. Kids, they under that unconditional love and attention of an adult big buddy whose sole job is to put a smile on their face for the weekend, they blossom.
Comfort zone is the thing that I am the most grateful for in my life. It's the good thing that came out of losing my dad.
Okay, so are we ready for Grayson's story?
We have small support groups throughout the weekend called healing circles, led by grief therapists who are our healing circle leaders, and kids are invited to tell their stories. And often it's the first time they've been asked to tell their stories. And it's almost like they become visibly lighter and brighter, like they're dumping a backpack full of rocks when they're done. It's amazing when one child tells their story for the first time and another one leans in and says, "Me too."
It's really a community of people that just deeply care about you in every way. Each person gets to share a little bit of their life, and for most, the hardest part of their life.
The staff is intentional with the way that they set up the program so that way your child wouldn't really experience a lot of homesickness because they're going from fun activities to then talking about their grief right back into high energy, so they don't really ever have time to just wallow in those doubtful feelings.
I love the atmosphere. I love being able to contribute that back to, give back to the experience I had as a camper and give that to all the campers that are here today. You go into camp thinking it's going to be this small weekend thing, and you leave having a lifetime of support.
Comfort Zone Camp is absolutely changing the world, especially in the grief world. We were the first nonprofit bereavement camp in the nation. Since our founding, we've served over 24,000 children, and that number is going to keep growing because the need for Comfort Zone Camp is much higher and in demand now more than ever.
We literally see these kids blossom and grow and heal right in front of our eyes.
Welcome back here to Chicago Street Course, the Coastal Financial Truck Series. Stage 1 has completed. Justin Ritchie getting that stage 1. We're under caution here, getting ready to go back green on lap 15. Jeremy Burns, who came down short, pitted the rest of the field on lap 9. He's taken back over on the lead. Trevor Keith has somehow wrangled up second position. Not sure exactly how that happened, but he is all smiles here for the next portion of this race. And just to prove it, we're going to ride on board with him here for this restart. Green flag back underway from Chicago. Oh, and contact between the 72 and the 15 right in turn 1. This thing looks like a handful through that portion of the racetrack into turn 4. Trevor Keith giving it a lot of wheel to keep it up there in the top 3. Dakota Floyd back in 6th now. And Logan Trumkel, who got a top 5. Apparently on and off pit road, a little bit of damage repair puts him back to 10th. Here's Floyd, who had to start from pit road. Cody Anderson, who picked up damage. Tough break for him here tonight. I know he was running really well, ended up finishing 2nd in that stage, made a mistake during the pace laps. Let's see if we can back this thing up. We need to go back and take a look at this restart. We'll try to go into turn 1 here with Trevor Keith and Jeremy Burns. And you'll see from our blimp camera a lot of contact here on this restart into that first corner. So right here at the restart zone. And watch right here. Sirkovich spins the tires a little bit here. And contact right here. The 6 gets into the back of the 15, moves him out of the way, and Trevor Keith back to 3rd. Boyd has found his way around a couple cars. He's up to 4th now. Got around Forget. I'm going to work on Trevor Keith. This is definitely a top 3 truck for Dakota Floyd. Let's see if he can get it there. Bumper of Trevor Keith. Into the final 2 turns. Boyd most likely going to set this pass up here into turn 1. Back here a little bit deeper in the 6th position, on board with Grant the Toes Turner. I don't know if you guys want a pedal cam right away. We've already seen one today. Let's give another one. On board with the 7. You can see there with flipping the throttle to shift down. Heavy on the brakes here. There's a look at Grant Turner from the wheel. Actually using a road course style wheel here tonight. In front of him though. Alex Forget and Trevor Keith going at it. Floyd was able to get around the 15. Keith has been slipping and sliding a lot here. And now Alex Forget to the inside. They almost make contact. Forget going to go outside into the final corner. He'll be on the left-hand side going into turn 1. Oh, and he locks it up. He loses it. The 19's around. All those spots lost. Here comes Threlkel now to the outside. The 7th. Rocking the wall in the background. I believe that was Jacob Sirkovich. We have a battle for 10th shaping up between Michael Reed and Matthew Robinson. 20 of Anderson back out on the racetrack after getting some kind of damage repaired. But off the pace here for the 20. by side as Anderson goes to the right-hand side of Reed. Anderson 2 laps down now. Got second in stage 1, started in the top 3, and again, just that minor miscalculation under pacing that tore that right front fender off of this machine. You can see it down there. Just a little crinkle on that bumper, but that whole right front fender is missing on this number 20, and sure frustrated with how the day has went. And actually sponsoring the race here tonight, Tire Shredder 42 at the Chicago Street Course. Boyd has caught up to his teammate. On the back end of Justin Ritchie. In the second spot, Ritchie getting to stage 1. Jeremy Burns 5.5 seconds ahead of him now. Continuing where he left off. Damaged with the 57, a touch with the wall there out of 4. And Jeremy Burns continues to pull away, now 5.7 seconds. No mistakes so far for the 72. The only part I would say is probably a little bit of a mistake was not taking those points, but he still ends up getting, I believe, 5th place points for the stage. He was far enough ahead that he was able to get back to 5th position after coming out of the pits around 8th. And he's continuing to pull that lead out. Here is Justin Ritchie out of the final corner. Dakota Floyd, 410's going to look to the right-hand side. Try to set up a pass. He'll go by. Ritchie cuts him a break, lets him around. Logan Threlkel done for the day. Maybe a connection issue, actually. Threlkel back on the racetrack. Yeah, having a connection issue here for the 18 car. Minor connection issue hopefully clears up for the 18. He's having a solid day, and I know the frustration of having internet issues. In the background, Circovich getting very loose. Alex Forget falls back to 9th. Michael Reed, Matthew Robinson, that battle is settled out. The one of Robinson into the top 10, trying to chase down Alex Forget. Closest battle on the racetrack is between Threlkel and Grant Thorpe. Doing a fantastic job through that portion of the racetrack, maintaining that 1.2 second gap. Actually pulls it out a little bit further. It was down to about 0.8, and he's grown it out to over a second now for lap 21. Lloyd trying to chase down Burns. Last time by, it was a full second separating these two, actually half a second. A 1:31.9 for Burns, a 1:32.3 for Dakota Floyd. He does continue to pull away from Justin Ritchie. And a truck around, I believe that's the one of Robinson. Mistake made here in turn 2. He's catching up to Forget. Locks it up. Luckily no one behind him, and he's able to get the truck back underneath him. But makes another mistake as we go back to the live shot, and now Michael Reed is going to go by. Just ahead of that, the 19 of Alex Forget makes a mistake. 9th, 10th, and 11th having problems here. 10 laps to go. And this is becoming a race of survival. We didn't talk much about weather here tonight. 85 degrees on the track surface, 78 in the air, but 85 is the average across this track. It does not equate for maybe certain portions. This is a big facility, and on one corner in particular, because it's just above those rail lines, it's a little bit cooler on certain parts of this racetrack versus other portions that are definitely part of the ground, and so that does bring the average out. I say probably in these turns it's closer to 90, 95 degrees. You can see how slippery it is out here on these older tires. Grant Turner, Grant Thorpe, Logan Threlkel, 5th through 7th, within half a second of each other. Grant Turner has found his way around Thorpe. Looking to attack. It's the battle of the foot cams. A 5 run right now for Threlkel. And he is catching up to Trevor Keith in 4th spot. Grant Turner makes a mistake, ends up losing it back there. Let's go back and see exactly what happened to the 7 truck. Into turn 1 right here. Loops it into the wall, and Grant Thorpe avoids it. That gives Logan Threlkel some breathing room. Back to the live shot. 15 of Trevor Keith in 3rd right now. 2.6 seconds ahead of the 18. Last time by, Threlkel about a 10th slower. Let's wait and see if he can continue to gain here. There's the gap between Threlkel and Keith. Just over 2 seconds. Mistakes made here for the 91 though. Actually, the 91 of Reed doing just what he needed to do. Forget made the mistake. He was sideways in the carousel right here. Trevor Keith still struggling on the handling. He's lost another full second. Last time by was a 1:35.5 for Keith. Threlkel to 1:33.8. Hot on the heels as well. Sirkovich catching up now to Grant Turner, who just made a mistake. And you have the 20 of Anderson a couple laps down here, just behind him. But the 7 into the wall, the 5 follows suit. It looks like this truck continuing to get worse with the handling. Here's a look at Grant Thorpe, 2.3 seconds behind the 5th place driver, but he is catching up to Trevor Keith as well and looking for a top 5 for the 77 team. Is there. Jeremy Burns has a 10-second lead over this field. Mr. Ritchie an additional 4. 15 and a half, almost 15 back in the top 3. Closest battle on the racetrack between Grant Turner and Jacob Sirkovich. And Turner's sideways into the entry. Around the statue, he's still sideways. And he's gonna loop it right here, almost. Loses control, good save. But still trying to get that truck underneath of him. And Sirkovich makes a mistake. He got the spot and lost it instantly. So many mistakes have been made here. And now the pressure's on. Does Trevor Keith make a mistake? Thorpe sideways out of that corner in the background. Oh, Keith has almost lost it there. He's feeling the pressure in his mirror here from Logan Threlkeld all over the back bumper. Here comes Threlkeld to the right-hand side. He's trying to get back to the throttle. Logan Threlkeld with another position gain to the top 4. Well, that battle, a long time coming. Threlkeld was able to catch him, pass him cleanly into turn 1. Jeremy Burns, 9.3 seconds ahead. Maybe a little mistake here. Floyd starting to shave away on this lead. Last time by, he was a half a second faster than Burns. Only 4 laps to go, though. He's going to need to make up 2 seconds a lap if he wants any chance to catch up to Jeremy Burns. Burns is trying to maintain at this point. Might have been the lap traffic there with the one machine of Matthew Robinson. You can see back here with Floyd just now going across the start-finish line. That's what 10 seconds looks like here at Chicago Street Course. Some trucks behind the wall here tonight. Parker Johnston, Christopher Schaefer, Tyler Harrison, Justice Murphy, and Kyle Diaz. We still have 13 trucks out here on the racetrack. Caleb Gilbert, the last truck, actually Alex Forget, the last truck in the lead lap. Caleb Gilbert, 1 lap down. Matthew Robinson also a lap down. Here's Alex Forget as Jeremy Burns is now coming over the hill to put him a lap down. Berkovich going to the right-hand side of Grant Turner for 6th. Trevor Keith ends up making a huge mistake, falls back to 8th. Not exactly sure. Trying to rewind this. Keith was riding behind Logan Threlkeld. And right here just locks it up, goes sideways. Facing the wrong direction. And just lets all these guys go by. Back to our live shot. Serkovich gets clear there, and we just saw that pass for position in that replay where the 5 was able to get around the 7. Threlkeld a little bit faster than Richie, but it's quite a ways here. Grant Thorpe makes a mistake. He has left front damage now, and he is now 14 seconds back from your 4th place driver of Logan Threlkeld. So it's pretty spread out throughout this field. Closest to each other right now is 6th position with Serkovich and Turner. The 91 of Michael Reed, looking like a top 10 day for him. Started in 12th, currently in 9th spot, but 16 seconds separate him and Trevor Keith. With the white flag in the air, it looks like Michael Reed is going to settle for a 9th place finish. And Jeremy Burns, who just took that white flag coming through turn 2. It's Alex Forget in the background, a lap down now. 9 trucks still on the lead lap through turns 3 and 4. Final time around for Jeremy Burns. Threlkeld was faster than Richie again, but it's too little too late. 10 seconds too big of a gap to make up for any change in the top 3. And it looks like with the way this will settle out, Burns 20 seconds ahead of Dakota Floyd, and second, Justin Ritchie, catching up to Floyd just a little bit here. Last time by, he made up a ton of time, so maybe a mistake for Floyd. He was a minute 42 around this place and has picked up some more damage. The final 2 corners, the 72, and it's no surprise here. Jeremy Burns gonna find his way to victory lane yet again. From the Chicago Street Course, race number 7 goes to the number 72. Jeremy Burns, points leader, victorious, week number 7. Floyd crossing the stripe now. Justin Ritchie just in the background was catching up to him. If we had one more lap, this might have shaped up to be a good battle. Logan Threlkeld now finding the final corner. Gets a little sideways, but he'll find his way to a top 5. Grant Thorpe on the other side of the racetrack here. We'll end up in a top 5 situation. Close battle between Trevor Keith and Grant Turner. He's going to send it into the corner here. Final 2. Sideways for Turner. But not enough there for Keith. Turner's going to hold on for 7th. That'll do it for our finishing order. Jeremy Burns going to bring it around. Get a post-race interview with your winner in just a moment. As we take that cool-down lap with Burns. Let's go find Jeremy Burns here. Jeremy Burns, it's Bradley Cooper in the Vspeed booth. Do you got a copy with us?
Yes, sir.
Well, Jeremy, I would say I'm surprised, but I don't think I am. Dominant performance here today. Fantastic run. You had that shortcut on the stage, though. Again, I got to ask, I know it pays off in the long run to come down pit road position-wise, but overall, man, it's a lot of points there. I got to ask what the strategy is to do that, or is it just, the plan all along? Do you adapt to maybe knowing that you can still get stage points with your lead?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. It was all going to depend on who came down the lap prior. The main thing about making a decision like that is when you're the leader on the road course, you get that extra lap to make that decision. So I was told that TK, who I know is a very good road course racer, and Jacob's also had success here on the road courses. They came down and flipped the stage, and at the end of the day, I told myself that I didn't want to start behind them because then you leave yourself susceptible to, something happening on the restart. And even restarting as the leader, something happened on the restart to where I got a 4X. So, I mean, just trying to put myself in the best position because there are really two parts of that race that, your race is decided in. And that's turn one of both the initial start and the restart at the stage. So, just being able to keep myself clear of that and try to minimize the damages. And, we had to coast a little bit there under the stage brake just to be able to make it on fuel. But overall, it was a great race. We executed flawlessly in all aspects of the race. So to come away with a victory like that and in that fashion is really good. And, we're going 3 in a row now. And unfortunately, I won't be here next week. But yeah, 3 in a row is pretty cool.
Well, Jeremy, I got to say, this is one of those racetracks that we usually see you perform well at. We've seen it in the past in the Cup Series. We've seen it now with the trucks. Is there any road course that you feel you'll be challenged at throughout this 2 series season?
I mean, I'm going to put in practice a lot of them. I'm very strong on the road courses, so just can't stress it enough how much it means to the league to practice and get more laps under their belt. And like I said, I hosted one this week, and you saw that as well. I know Justin Ritchie, Dakota Floyd was in on it a little bit. Cody Anderson, he was running great until some unfortunate stuff happened. So, I mean, it pays dividends, right, to practice. And if I don't feel comfortable with one, which I can't think of one off the top of my head that I am uncomfortable with. I mean, we're not even going to Mexico City, so if we were to go to that one, that'd probably be one that I'm uncomfortable with. But at the end of the day, just gotta get laps logged and just try to do the best that we can with the given circumstances. And at the end of the day, any laps will help
Well, Jeremy, you add a fourth win to the season. I think that's 3 in a row now.
Yeah.
So there, you're definitely starting to spread out on the points a little bit from Alex Forget, who unfortunately didn't have a good night tonight. So that should help a little bit more with that points gap. But congratulations on that fourth victory. Anybody you got to shout out, put this car on the racetrack?
Yeah, just shout out my mom and dad, Josie, Dilly, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma, Miss Betsy, of course, Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shannon, Belinda, Betty, and Colleen. Shout out Terry Hudgens. His chat gives me an extra 5 horsepower, so gotta shout him out. 8 other supporters of the league, Elman X, Ingenuity Power Systems for being on the hood, Chapman Environmental, Butt Kicker, Coast Financial, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, Earhart Holmes, All About Bugs. You guys up here at Vspeed, y'all do a phenomenal job. And I can't wait to go back and watch it, and everybody else who made this possible, all the admins, all the drivers that have been putting in a bunch of work. It doesn't go unnoticed, right? And everybody tonight was working to get better, and that's what we do week in and week out. So just glad to see it as a league, and we'll go on. Well, I guess the other guys will go on to Atlanta, but I'm gonna be fighting for a championship in the college series, so I'm gonna get prepped for that, and hopefully next week we can bring home some scholarship money.
There you go. Well, we appreciate your time and good luck there in the college series. Practice up, and hopefully we hear good news in a couple weeks' time when we get to see you again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Bradley.
Jeremy Burns, victorious from the Chicago Street Course. Congratulations to him on another victory this season. No surprise at these road courses what Jeremy Burns can do. With that, though, it's time to hit a quick replay and recap of this race. We're going to find all of that information, gather up all of that for you, and post-race interviews with the second and third place with Dakota Floyd and Justin Ritchie in just a moment. But you are watching the Coastal Financial Truck Series. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back here to Chicago Street Course. We have concluded our 30 laps here today for race number 7 of the Coastal Financial Truck Series. Live here on Vspeed, we have season coverage all flag to flag, every single race. A lot of results up on your screen. The one caution for stage 1 that goes to Justin Ritchie here today. But Jeremy Burns is going to be victorious with Dakota Floyd and Justin Ritchie in the top 3. We'll get a word with those other 2 drivers in just a moment. Logan Threlkel, an impressive drive for him, stayed in the top 5, finishes 4th. Grant Thorpe turns his day around, gets 5th position. Jacob Sirkovich, he drove the rubber off that thing to get 6th position. Then you have Grant Turner for 7th. Trevor Keefe, 8th. Michael Reed, 9th, top 10 for him. And Alex Forget came in here 2nd in points today. He might lose that 2nd spot as he finishes 1 lap down in 10th. 11th goes to Matthew Robinson. Caleb Gilbert finishing 12th. Cody Anderson, damage under caution. He'll finish 13th, 2 laps down. And the rest of these drivers out early for the day. You have the 14th position with Parker Johnston behind the wall. Christopher Schaefer in the 23. Tyler Harrison, an early exit in the 45. Justice Murphy, who started up in the top 10, finishes 17th. Kyle Diaz, 16th, back to 18th. And Chris Nail, who never got to actually take the grid here tonight, will round out your 19 truck field. And now it's time to round up that top 3 and bring up our next driver into the booth. It's Dakota Floyd, our second place finisher here tonight. And Dakota, I know this was one of those races that you probably wish whatever happened there. Was it a connection issue? What exactly went wrong there to start this race off?
Internet died right as soon as grading happened. So luckily we had enough time to get back in there and at least start from the pits.
Yeah, luckily the pace laps are very long here, so you were able to grid from the pits. You clawed your way through this field relatively quickly. Just before that stage, had found the top 5, I believe. And then with the strategy on pit road, you kind of reversed it and put yourself into a good spot to get a top 3. But it was no easy task. You started here and technically should have been here all night long, but you had to work hard to get there.
Yeah, Chicago street course is not very easy. It's a lot of blind corners, a lot of 90-degree corners. There's very, very few passing opportunities. So lots of banking on the person in front of you making a mistake. And yeah, starting from the pits is definitely not how I wanted to start. I thought maybe I could at least keep Jeremy close if I started behind him, but it was not in the cards tonight, but still getting it back to P2. Definitely can't complain about that. Just more solid points days is what we're really looking for here.
Yeah, and you have done that. You've shown consistency at every racetrack this season, and that's part of the reason you're up there in that top 5 in points. Even without the victory, we've seen you win championships without getting a win. I know it's going to be a little bit more difficult with the playoff format that we'll have here, but it is doable. You could put this thing together and continue on with just top 3 finishes.
That's the goal. I mean, just got to keep putting them in together, stay out of trouble, and keep it in the top 3. Maybe sneak a win or 2 away. But yeah, like you said, consistency is key. So I hope to keep doing that.
Well, congratulations on this top 3 finish and how hard you had to work to get up there. But Dakota Floyd, I know there's a lot of people that back you up. Go ahead and shout those people out while we have you.
Well, definitely want to shout out the teammate tonight. I mean, Richie finished right behind me in 3rd, so I know he had really good pace tonight too. So glad we could have another full team podium again, and just keep bringing in solid points for both of us there. And I want to shout out the field. Everyone raced super respectful. I know it's not the easiest place to race at, and try to let people by or try to race them clean. I mean, no matter what you do, contact's going to happen. It's just the nature of the racetrack. And shout out you and Vspeed and everything you guys do for this league and every other league that I race in. You guys do a phenomenal job on the broadcasts. And shout out to everyone that watches and supports me week in and week out.
Dakota Floyd, 2nd place. We look forward to 1 week's time where we go to Atlanta Super Speedway in just 7 days.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Bradley. Have a good night.
There you have it. 2nd place finisher Dakota Floyd had to claw his way back into the top 3, but gets it done here from Chicago. And finally, that brings up Justin Ritchie. And Justin, I got to say, it was kind of a gift there to get that stage win. Everybody trying to short pit and pull some strategy, and you just stayed out on the racetrack, held off the 20 machine. Fantastic drive overall. You definitely got a bump in the points this week.
Oh yeah. It was a gift from Mr. Birds, and I'll take that every day of the week. But no, Cody gave me a run for my money there. That was some really close racing. He had a chance to dump me right before the fountain, and he didn't. So shout out to him for keeping it clean there at the end of the stage.
Yes, and that 20 car, not exactly sure. Something happened under pacing that put him in pit road, but you had worked the strategy here to stay up front, got on and off pit road cleanly, did everything you could, but it just seemed like Dakota Floyd was determined to get back to where he started. You didn't put up much of a fight, just kind of politely let him by. Was that kind of what you were expecting, or did you think maybe, just maybe, you could stay ahead of them if you got far enough out?
Well, I wanted to push like 80% because if I was going 100%, I would end up balled up in a turn 2 mess. So I was just trying to keep 4 wheels on it and keep her pointed in the right direction. And I'm cool with the podium. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
I know that the win is just around the corner. It seems like you've led some laps this season. You've been close a couple times. Where do you think it's going to finally come together for you this season?
Well, as long as Jeremy Burns is running road courses, not at a road course. Maybe Talladega. Was that next week?
Atlanta, actually.
Atlanta, that too. Any of those plate tracks that are just a roll of the dice, I seem to roll sixes on those. So maybe we'll get lucky and turn my season around a little bit.
Well, Justin, I know a lot of people support you and Dakota Floyd on that team, but go ahead and shout those people out for you personally.
Oh, big shout out to Bradley Cooper for making this awesome paint scheme for me and Dakota. Shout out to all my Vspeed guys that we race with on Wednesdays. And shout out to Dakota for always pushing me. He's teaching me a lot, especially on the oval side of things. So, yeah, it's just a battle for improvement that we're never going to stop.
Justin Ritchie, third place here today, started fourth, led 3 laps, gets a stage win and a top 3. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to do it for our coverage here tonight from the Chicago Street Course. Hope you enjoyed tonight's action. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race of the Coastal Financial Truck Series and Racing Revolution. More racing action through the week. We have some Tuesday night oval racing for BTDY and QSR. You can also catch Racing Revolution in the Cup Series. It's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series on Wednesday at 8:35 p.m. And Saturday Night Racing back live for week number 8. This is all live here on Vspeed in the Chicagoland. 7:45 for the Challenger Series on Saturday. But for everybody that made this possible, Rob Rader and all the admin team over at Racing Revolution, our sponsor here tonight, 4D2 Designs. You check them out as well. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Chicago. We'll see you in 1 week's time in Atlanta Superspeedway. Till then, everybody, stay tracked.